It's a buttery day in this Buttercast, a buttery day for a podcast.
Can you digest butter?
I can't digest butter.
Real.
Butter.
I see dead people.
I thought you weren't insane anymore.
Yeah, I'm actually a thing. I'm a being.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
Maybe it'll all just go away. Like a bad dream.
I doubt it.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello, neighbor. I'm Peter Theodore.
I'm Theodore.
And I'm Amanda LeBlanc.
Today, we're going to review
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Directed by Marielle Heller. Starring Tom Hanks.
good
And
old Tom.
Matthew Reese. I think that's how you
Wait a
pronounce it.
second.
I'm glad you
Wait.
know.
What?
I didn't know. When you guys said we were watching Mr. Rogers this week, I went online and I watched Mr. Rogers. I didn't know this was a movie.
Oh boy.
Well, it's a movie kind of about him, but it's more about Lloyd,
Yeah.
the guy who's
Lloyd?
trying to, I
Yeah,
guess...
well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
before we start off, we're gonna do a review, okay?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do top 5. Theodore, what's the top 5?
Well, this week we'll be talking about the top 5 biopics. And you won't believe what's number 1.
Biopics?
Biopics.
Oh, biopics.
Okay.
Biographical films.
I like that. Say that
Biographical
every single
pictures.
time. In the
Top
next
5
biographical
real
picture.
Buttercast biographical films.
Yeah, that's good. And then we're gonna have some hot
Gas.
gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we also got a little surprise, not surprise, but a little extra segment, the Frozen 2 horror stories.
Yeah,
I
because
call
that
it,
opened up this weekend.
I don't even say it anymore. I just say the F word. I can't even bring myself to...
Yeah, it's
To talk about
yeah,
it.
there's a lot going on. Oh, is there someone at the door?
Who is it?
Oh, I think there is someone at the door.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
What's up, guys?
Noah.
Noah,
Been a while.
welcome.
Welcome, neighbor. Take a seat.
How's it going?
It's we're on season 2 of the Buttercast, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I was on here. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We're glad you're back too.
You like your little seat?
Yeah, sorry, I just kind of showed up.
It's okay.
All right.
I mean,
No, we're glad
it's
you're
a
here.
pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Any more poop stories or no more poop?
Nope.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go to the Bubble Gut and Hot Snake episode.
Worst day of my life, by far.
Not recording the podcast, but the events
No.
were described in the podcast.
Yeah, lots of poop
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Other
know what?
bodily
Just
fluids.
go listen to it. Come back. You know,
It's an
spend 5
off-topic
hours
episode.
listening. Yeah,
You
we don't.
know, there's no movie review. It's just a lot of shit talking, as it were.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm still haunted. Still haunted.
Yeah. Are you okay over there?
Theo,
Theodore?
what's
Are you,
going
like,
on, man?
Are
You
you
dying?
exploring through the mountains or something?
No, he's still living in his car, right?
Okay, well, it sounds like he's on an exploration.
Yeah, I'm still in my car. But good news, I was able to get some saran wrap and duct tape, and I repaired the window, so it's no longer as chilly in here. It's quite nice.
Can you see out of it?
Well, yeah, with
Yeah,
the
it's
clean
clear.
wrap.
Yeah, but there's streaks in that, unless you're a
Well,
god
yeah, it
and
is.
was able to not even get a fold.
It's not the windshield, Peter. It's not the windshield. This is one of the side windows.
Yeah.
Right, not important.
He
Who
doesn't
needs a
have to-
side
Anyway,
window?
yeah, and yeah, things are growing great here in LA. I'm working on the rewrite of the Real Butter movie.
The
Still
rewrite, what are you changing?
I'm removing I'm bringing Peter's role down a little bit.
Right,
You
of
know,
course.
Understandable.
Hey,
Sorry?
Huh? And I pretty much just cut Poppy out. So.
Poor Poppy.
How is Poppy? I haven't seen him in a while.
Do you really want him?
No, I don't actually.
Why? What's
Just
wrong
forget
with
I
Poppy?
asked. Forget I asked.
What's wrong with Poppy?
Some bad blood between us.
Bad blood, man. This guy is
mean, okay?
I understand
join
that.
the club.
He's just
Join
flat
the
out
club.
mean. Anyway.
We'll bring him on in segment 2. Don't worry, folks.
Dear God.
This
Please.
is we can't bring him out this too soon.
Anyway, back to our review.
Yeah, let's reverse.
Yeah. A Beautiful
Alright,
Day in
so-
the Neighborhood.
So you guys are saying you watched a movie about Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, like a fictional movie. Tom Hanks played Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, no, not the
Oh my
documentary that came out. What was it? 2 years ago?
Yeah, not the documentary, not the original children's TV program.
And not the sci-fi original.
I just spent the last week watching like 40 episodes of Mr. Rogers.
Well, that's awesome.
And you're telling me that we're reviewing. We're
That-
watching the movie.
No, it's okay. That's good content, man. That's
Yeah.
good content. You know,
Yeah.
you know your content.
We're well-rounded in our research.
Did you say you watched 40 episodes in a week?
Yeah, man.
That's
I mean,
impressive.
He's not doing anything.
I don't have a
else.
lot to do. I just work at a really small movie theater. There's just basically there's one screen. There's one screen and
Is
just
that
me.
new?
Just me sitting there at the desk. So
Weren't you at the hotel?
no, the movie theater's downstairs.
Oh, right.
The hotel's upstairs, movie theater
But
downstairs.
he just moved out of the hotel because of
We have a very like
But you
Shauna.
hold- yes.
exclusive kind of membership there, like real film lovers. So we don't have any of your big budget Hollywood garbage there.
But at least,
a lot of,
you know what? I don't need this. Neighbor. It's like an insult.
Yes.
Well,
Peter and I saw the movie
luckily,
together.
I did prepare my top 5 list of biopics,
Okay, well-
which
It's not biopics.
It's not
nicely.
biopics, and we're on the review right
Biographical
now.
they're called
pictures of.
biopics.
We're
Look it up. Look it up on Google.
You look it up on Google. Do you even know what Google is?
Probably uses like
Yeah.
Firefox.
Yeah, you freaking Firefox guy,
all
aren't
right.
you?
We're on the review now. All right, we're moving on.
What?
Yeah, it was. You know,
Fine.
Mr.
Let's hear
Rogers
about it.
was-
What's this movie about? Is it like his whole life or what?
Okay, no, it's not. Listen, it's not technically a biopic. I have to say, after watching the movie, because it's not a story about Mr. Rogers and his life and how he got to where he ended up. It is about a writer who was tasked with profiling Mr. Rogers for a Heroes issue for Esquire, and he was a very depressed man who had a lot of, he had a lot of history with his father, and he was struggling with that, and he was also a new father himself. And he went up and met Mr. Rogers and spent all this time with him and ended up writing this story about him in Esquire that is, it was a really personal essay about himself as well and his childhood. And it was about their friendship that they kind of formed over time and how Mr. Rogers, broke through the journalist's, tough outer shell. So... And
that's the whole movie.
That's pretty, it was really, Peter and I sat together and we cried
And cried.
the whole time.
I am not kidding. I cried in
sobbed.
every scene.
Yes, me too.
And it was ugly crying.
Yes,
it wasn't a little tear here and
tears
there.
rolling down the face.
At one point, Amanda went. You were hyperventilating.
I was hyperventilating, yeah.
And it was pretty loud, too.
I know. You know what happens to me? Once every time I'm crying really hard in a movie, every time I'm like,
Yeah, you had this gasp, shaky gasp.
Yeah, it was
now you're coughing.
and I know, I just made myself cough, but it's like a sob. I literally let out a sob, and it's like, and it's embarrassing.
This is what it was.
Time.
This is what it was.
It's
It's like a hyena thing going on.
Have you ever been asked if you need medical help?
Actually, when I was a child, I was watching.
I didn't expect an answer.
Well,
Please.
I was at my best friend's house, and we were watching this movie called The Cure, which I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it has Brad Renfro in it, who was my all-time fave child actor who passed away really sadly when he was very young, but
Rip.
from a drug overdose. But he was in this movie, and this other little boy was in it, and he was like 12, and like Brad Renfro was like, I don't know, like 14, and the younger one had AIDS, and it was in like the early 90s, so it was still when like AIDS was really like,
God, this is really sad. I can see why you were crying.
It was set and filmed in my hometown, which is why I love it so much, and why we wanted to watch it. But I was crying so hard by the end of the movie that she asked me if I wanted to go home, like to my parents. We were like 12. Or
Are
something.
you done? Do you want to go home?
Like she was like, Amanda, are you okay? I don't know. You need help or something? You need your mom? And I was like, no, I'm fine.
I need my mommy.
And then we watched Black Beauty immediately afterwards, which I don't know if you've seen Black Beauty, but that's about a horse that gets severely abused. And I cried.
Why would you do this to yourself?
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm such a masochist.
Theo, are you okay?
Are you eating chips or something over there?
Yeah, can you stop eating some chips?
Yeah.
Lay's? At least have Pringles, okay? That's not really that
Lay's
noisy.
are better.
What?
We're not having this conversation right now, neighbor.
But yes, crying in movies are...
Honestly, it's dark in my car. I thought they were chips, but it was a leaf.
Oh my gosh.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
Laugh all you want. It tastes pretty good.
Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers.
I forgot it was Tom Hanks. I'm not kidding.
Literally, me too. And he doesn't look he doesn't look a lot like Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is a very small person.
But he was so into it.
But like just the way he embodied him, it was like wasn't even like watching acting. It was like he was him.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah. Really, yeah.
Yeah, halfway through I told you I forgot that was Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
You're so into the story and the cinematography was good too. The way that they panned the looking down parts, like at a model city,
an aerial view of
of a fake little city, like they did in Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, so they echoed how Mr. Rogers used models and miniatures to like create a scene, and they did that in order to change. To show where you were in the movie, because a lot of times you're in New York, but sometimes you're in Pittsburgh. So they use these like model sets.
And you've seen that in movies. It's like a drone shot or something.
But it's like
in this case,
it's like not realistic looking. It's like
But it was so cool, and I couldn't wait.
Did they use tilt shift photography?
I don't know what that is. So.
Okay, so it's a way of shooting a landscape, a city, or something from above, but making it look like it's a miniature.
Oh, yeah.
By manipulating the focus.
Yeah, Hereditary did that a lot. Movie Hereditary, a horror movie.
No, well, yeah.
Where it's kind of out of focus and it looks really up close, but it's super far away. It's really hard to describe, but it basically looks like a miniature, even though that it's not. It's kind of a cool way to do it.
They had a cool. They kind of they would do the whole thing where there would be the miniature, then they'd zoom in and it would turn into the real building.
Yeah, it was trippy. It was pretty
and then
cool.
it would be then you'd be in the scene. Kind of a transition. That was really cool. Mariel Heller also directed Can You Ever Forgive Me, which came out last year with Melissa McCarthy and Richard E. Grant, and it was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. And the way that I really like her filmmaking because she's very her world feels so detailed and real. The way that and they just feel so lived in, and that's how I felt about this movie. Was the same way. It was a very specific viewpoint, and everything in the movie kind of led me to the theme of the story.
Yeah, it was holding your hand and walking you through the whole story.
Yeah,
the
but
entire time.
not in bashing you over the head with it. It was just it just
was
made
guiding
sense.
you.
Yeah.
To the end, which is gosh.
Matthew Rhys was good, but he has I think he has fake teeth or something or veneers.
Yeah.
And they were very distracting because they were not the same color as his bottom teeth at all. And they were very perfectly straight, and his bottom teeth were not
crooked. Just
which is fine. Crooked is great, but it was
crooked is great.
I kept getting distracted by his teeth. Every time he opened his mouth, I was like, ooh, look at those chiclets.
Chiclets. But they had a good script to work with, and it was I wasn't expecting that kind of take on the movie. I didn't look into it. I didn't even watch a trailer. I was just super excited for it. And I had no idea that it was like Mr. Rogers was in it, but it wasn't about him.
No.
But you couldn't replace him in the movie.
I mean, he had a central role in the story, but it wasn't his story. It was definitely
the reporter is the main character.
Yeah, his name is Lloyd Vogel, and it's based on a real story.
Yeah, that's what like broke me.
Yeah, it's the actual writer of the real Esquire article is named Tom Junod, and I read the article after I watched the movie just to see the similarities and to see how much they took from that story. And I think the subplot about his father, there's the main kind of, besides him meeting Mr. Rogers, the other plot was him being mad at his father.
Daddy issues.
Yeah, for not being there when his mother was dying. And his father was played by Chris Cooper, and I think that part was like fictional. But a lot of it was true, and a lot of what was mentioned in the article was shown in the movie as things that Mr. Rogers did. Like the singing in the underground, in the subway.
Oh, my God.
That actually happened, where he was riding the subway in New York.
With Lloyd.
In real life, it wasn't with the reporter. It was just by himself.
But in the movie, yeah.
In the movie, it was with the reporter, and a bunch of, like, middle school, like, young children started singing "Won't You Be My Neighbor" to him. Like, and everyone in the train car joined in, and he just, like, sat there and, like, absorbed it, and then at the end was like, "Thank you so much, that was so wonderful." Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my God!
It emotionally broke me.
Yeah. Every scene you're just like, oh, just crying more.
I think, what was it, 6 or 7 napkins.
Yeah, you had a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I was just using my sweater to just mop my face. And you got on my face.
I didn't want a wet shirt after a movie.
My sweater was black, so you couldn't see that it was just all tears.
Well, we went right after our shift, so we were set.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I don't know what else to add.
Yeah. Go watch it, honestly. Yeah. And if you don't know Mr. Rogers, you'll still enjoy the story.
Yeah,
you may not get all the little subtle things, like the panoramic shots of little small cities, but you'll pick it up quick.
Yeah.
But I don't think Noah saw it. So what is your opinion based on us saying it, on us reviewing the movie? What would you give it out of 5 butter?
It doesn't seem like my type of movie, honestly.
What is your type of movie?
I like comedies and action
this
movies.
is definitely not a comedy.
And what, an action?
Yeah.
Okay.
But based off your guys' review, I would probably say like 3.5.
3.5 butter out of 5.
I would see it. I just probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
like
it's not your genre. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good, but you'll definitely enjoy the Mr. Rogers sci-fi original.
There is no such thing. Stop spreading lies, Peter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How many butters would you give it?
I would give it 7 movie theater napkins soaked in tears out of 5 butter.
Wow.
I would give it a 4 out of 5 butter.
4 out of 5?
4 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
4.5? 4.5 out of 5 butter?
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's a lot of butter.
I removed half a butter because of his teeth.
I was right about saying because of the teeth as a joke, but you were serious.
No, for real.
I didn't really notice it that much. I could tell that they weren't real, or they were highly fake, or tweaked a little bit, a little touched up here and there.
They're all fake.
But wow, that took away half a point, half a butter.
Yeah. Half a butter. Do better.
Hollywood.
Do butter.
You gotta watch your teeth.
Cool. All right. Next up.
Top 5.
Real.
Butter.
Welcome back to the Real Buttercast. I'm Theodore, and this is the official Real Buttercast Top 5 Biopics. Biopics.
I'm sorry?
That's what they're called. They're called biopics.
No, say it right. Say it the long way.
Biopics.
Say it the long way.
I'm not doing it.
Yes, dude, do it.
Biographical pictures.
Biographical pictures. Gotta say it quick.
The real Buttercast top 5 biographical films. Sounds terrible.
I think it sounds better than Biopics.
Yeah, I think
That's what they call them. That's what everybody calls them, you fool.
Well,
You fool.
You fool.
You fool. All right. Well, number 5, Monkey Hands, go.
you sound like a seal.
We got a drum roll.
All right, number 5
Slap yourself.
is the film Chaplin from 1992.
love it.
Love it.
So
RDJ.
this is the biographical comedy drama about British comedian Charles Chaplin, starring Robert Downey Jr., Marissa Tomei, Dan Aykroyd, Penelope Ann Miller, and Kevin Kline.
Calvin Klein?
Kevin Klein.
The clothing company? Isn't it?
Kevin.
You fool.
Just like a walking piece of
directed
underwear?
by Richard Attenborough
Some whitey tighties?
and highly acclaimed. What? It stars Iron Man, you fool.
I like the way that you're saying that. It's like really gross. Who are you? You going through an identity crisis?
No.
Am I? You fool.
Let's just move on. It's not working with Chaplin.
No, I
Let's
love
go to number
Chaplin.
4.
I love
Your opinion doesn't matter, I guess.
Fine.
Oh, wait, no. Amanda, what do you have to say about this?
Well, no.
Yeah, what do you have to say for yourself?
I think his performance as Chaplin is really, really good. And it was wasn't that a comeback for him? Like, one of his comebacks?
It was one of his many comebacks.
Yeah.
But this was
one of his
sort
first, right?
And he sort of fell apart after this, and then Iron Man would be his final comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am Iron
He
Man.
was nominated for Best Actor in the Oscars that year.
Yeah, right. That's so right. Yep, and he did the bread roll scene from
Oh, I love bread. So hungry.
Gold
Yeah,
Rush.
Bread's big.
What it's called? Yeah, great movie.
Good song.
Highly
though.
recommend.
He also won the BAFTA for Best Actor.
Ooh, that's
What's with these shortened words? I'm
Well,
not.
it's the British
It's an
he didn't make it up?
Academy of Film and
I didn't
Television
name-
Awards. No, he didn't make it up. No, it's like literally called
BAFTA?
Yeah, it's like the British, like
British award.
for
British.
action, for like film and television.
They made that acronym
There we
up?
go.
Yeah, like it's like
I can't even.
BAFTA.
BAFTA.
So it's the British Film Awards given by the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. BAFTA.
Just get it
Not
in
to be
your head.
confused with bathtub.
I don't think anybody would confuse it with that.
I'm on my way to the BAFTA. I'm gonna take a dip in the BAFTA.
BAFTA. I like that. Okay.
All right.
What's number 4? Drum roll.
What?
Number 4 is Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, I think I voted for that.
You can't vote on our own
Also,
things,
Vote
dude.
for your own.
What's going on? We got someone on the inside?
Whoa.
Cheater?
This was the first time that has ever happened. I apologize
I don't
for my
believe that.
mistake.
How many times have
Oh my.
Someone check to confirm.
No one?
This
You on
is
that?
scandalous. Scandalous.
I'm sorry.
Scandalous?
Is it scandalous? I didn't
Little
know.
bit.
I mean, I'm not winning anything. I just was participating in a poll.
We forgot to
I mean,
tell you
our listeners expect
A poll that we
transparency.
host.
It's really awkward.
Vote on your own polls, man.
I mean, this isn't my own poll.
I guess, but not like this.
Okay.
That hurt.
Shameful.
So I can't vote anymore?
No!
You can, just don't tell us about it.
Just vote in your head or just don't.
Okay.
Forget about it.
Hey, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Well, Catch Me If You Can.
Coppers.
Frank Abagnale Jr.
Frank Abagnale.
Abagnale.
Yeah, so before he was 19, Frank Abagnale successfully forged millions of dollars worth of checks, posed as a Pan Am pilot, a doctor, and a legal prosecutor. And Tom Hanks stars as the FBI agent who's on his tail.
And Leo DiCaprio.
It's amusing, and it was directed by Steven Spielberg. And it's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It's kind of light, but it's Leonardo DiCaprio working on his acting chops.
What? I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
You always say that every time we record.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
That's so funny.
I think we're just tired.
I've had a fever for 4 days now.
Oh my gosh.
You should probably get that checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out, man.
You know,
your brain is cooking inside of you.
I need that real butter, Peter. I need it. I've been drinking the local butter. I've been melting the local butter and drinking it.
It's not the same. You gotta get it from the theater.
Maybe if I drank a lot of it, it might just sort of get me halfway there. But it's just giving me the scoots.
Oh God, scoot!
I don't like that. I don't.
No, it's gotta be from the Theater Brothers Theater because there's other chemicals involved.
My hair is completely white.
What?
I need the butter, man. I'm aging. Like, every day is at least a month's worth of time.
Oh my! I don't want you to die. I didn't know. I want you withering away on me. Yet.
I'll pay for the shipping.
All right, I'll send a couple ounces of real butter.
Couple ounces?
I'll send a couple ounces. Is that okay?
Number 2.
What, you skipped number 3?
He's so done. He's just like, you know what? Forget number 3.
Fine, we'll do number 3.
What did number 3 ever do to you?
Number 3, Amadeus.
Oh, about Mozart.
Indeed. The 1984 epic period biographical drama film, if you will, or biopic, directed by Milos Forman.
You gotta stop that.
It's not a word.
Biopic. Biopic.
Yeah, it's about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and his rival, Italian composer Antonio Salieri.
Can you say that in an Arnold voice?
The film follows the fictional rivalry between Mozart and Italian composer Antonio Salieri at the court of Emperor Joseph II.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Can you say Biopic and Arnold?
This is the real Buttercast top 5 biopics.
No, you gotta do biopic. Bay.
I'm gonna tell you about all of the biopics, and you're gonna shut your mouth.
I've never seen Amadeus, but I really want to. I saw a little clip on Twitter,
here.
and it was.
You should see it because apparently it received 40 awards that year, including 8 Academy Awards, 4 BAFTAs, 4 Golden Globe Awards.
Wait, what was that?
And
4 Golden Globes?
What is going on? I can't hear you.
It was 4 Golden Globes, and then.
Let's see. 4 Golden Globes and a Directors Guild of America award.
Cool.
And the American Film Institute has ranked it as 53 on its 100 Years of Great Film. And, yeah.
Cool.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, cool.
Wait, Theodore, is there someone at the door? Hey, hello?
Hello?
Who's there?
Does anyone open the stupid door?
Poppy, the door's open.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's Noah.
God, come on, I'm doing my list, Poppy. I don't just wait.
Your list can wait. But you...
I don't want any beef with you, alright? I thought we settled this.
I'm a piece of popcorn. Not made of beef. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Yeah, look away.
Try not to look in your eyes. It's all
so,
Last
Peter,
time I did it, you spit salt in my eyes.
What's up?
Peter, today, hey, speaking of popcorn, right? Quiet, Poppy. So I was working at the movie theater today. I was working at this little movie theater, and this guy came in, and he was going to get popcorn, but he brought in a little Ziploc bag with about, like, a tiny Ziploc bag with the remnants of the popcorn that he got the last time he was there, with the flavor on it. He said, I brought this, and he mixed it in with the new popcorn.
Ew.
What?
What do you think about? I've never seen this in all my time at the Theodore Brothers Theater.
Okay, so he had a Ziploc bag?
Yeah. With the previous, I don't know, from like a couple of days ago. So it had flavoring on it or whatever. And he wanted to mix that in with the new stuff.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be wasteful, save the turtles.
I appreciate that.
But you gotta rinse the bag out, man. It's not just powdered dust.
It wasn't a full sandwich size bag. This is like a tiny Ziploc, like the ones you use for, I don't even know what you use them for. They're really small.
Wait.
Like
drugs?
Yeah.
Like smaller than
you could not. It would not fit like 2 Reese's peanut butter cups.
Wow.
What if it won?
Oh yeah.
Are you sure he doesn't put drugs in his new popcorn?
There's definitely drugs.
If it fits one, then you know what it's
He's
for.
just sprinkling like meth on it. Like meth crystals, isn't that
That's
what it is?
not really how it works, but okay.
Little drugs on it. Sprinkling little drugs.
Little drugs.
All right, and the real Buttercast top 5 biopics. Number 1.
What did he just say? Did you say bad?
Number 1. I'm doing number 1.
Did we do number 2?
We didn't do number 2 yet.
Hello, this movie got more votes than any other movie that we've had a poll for.
Did we do number 2?
No.
I want to do. All right.
Wow,
number
he's
2.
really not
You
doing
gotta
so
do the
well.
top 5. This isn't the top 1, 3, 4, and
Do you
5.
know how to count?
Poppy, I swear to God.
5, 4, 3, 2, then 1. Not 5, 3, 1.
Thanks.
Well, he skipped 3 before.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2, Peter. Give me a drum roll, please.
You don't have to slap yourself.
I'm not slapping
It looks like
myself.
you're hurting
No,
yourself.
All right.
I'm fine.
What?
I guess.
Number 2 is Malcolm X from 1992.
Oh.
Yeah. Directed by Spike Lee. Starring Denzel Washington and Angela Bassett, Albert Hall, Al Freeman Jr., and Delroy Lindo. Yeah. So this is an epic adaptation of the autobiography of Malcolm X, which is an amazing book, and you should read it.
Yeah.
About African-American activist Malcolm X.
Yeah, he's a real guy. Real dude.
Yep.
Real dude.
He lived.
I watched that in school.
Yeah? Would you rate it? Like 5?
Yeah, it was really good. Like 4 or 5, probably. I don't really
4
remember.
or 5 out of 5?
Out of 5?
Yeah, totally.
Wow, it was pretty good then.
It's a really good movie.
It's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this movie called?
Malcolm X.
Named after the guy. Malcolm X.
Oh no.
Can I talk back to you?
Don't. I bet. Okay, Noah, do you know who Malcolm X is?
No.
Oh. He's a civil rights.
Moving on.
No, hang on. He's got to
This
get.
is not the time for this
He's
conversation.
got to get
I want
learnt.
this on the air.
We'll tell you about it later.
That's fine.
This is okay. So obviously, number 2 is the failure of the American school system, and number 1, Ed Wood.
What?
It's like such an
All right,
anticlimactic
Ed
one.
Wood is a biopic from 1994, produced and directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp, Martin Landau, Sarah Jessica Parker, Patricia Arquette.
What universe did you pull this from?
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Not even Amanda has heard of that.
Like I was saying, Ed Wood got more votes than any other movie we've had previously on these lists.
Wow, we're not
What?
we're not up to date, I guess.
What is
You gotta
it?
be hip to the jive, man.
To the jive?
No.
How old are you?
Dear Lord.
How old are you?
I'm younger than you, fool.
Stop calling me fool, dude.
Sorry. I'm regressing. So
Regressing. Tell us about Ed Wood.
So, okay, Ed Wood was a real person. Edward Davis Wood Jr. He was an American filmmaker, actor, and author, and he's sort of known as the worst director of all time.
Oh.
Are you pranking us? Is this a real person? Is this a real movie?
No, he directed really cheap horror and sci-fi kind of genre movies in the 1950s. And he wrote them, and they're just... Okay, so for instance, Plan 9 from Outer Space from 1959, considered one of the worst films ever made.
So, why is this number 1 then?
Because it's about the guy.
The movie about him with Johnny Depp is amazing. It's very funny, and...
I was going to ask if it was a comedy, because he's just like a screw-up, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very gentle. They don't poke fun at him. He's sort of just a dreamer, and he doesn't see himself like everyone else does. Everyone else thinks he's sort of a loser and a weirdo, but he's very idealistic. And
So like you?
Okay, that's enough, Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy, you gotta watch that.
What's what? What's what?
Your mouth.
My mouth?
You heard me.
I can't even look at my mouth, you idiot.
I have a broom.
Look at your mouth right now. Go look at your mouth.
I will.
You look like
Later.
a buffoon.
I don't want to do it right now.
You're cross-eyed. You can't even look at your own face.
You want to go, Poppy?
Yeah, let's go. Where are we going?
To the trash, where you belong.
To the trash.
All right. Enough fighting.
Stay out of this.
It's between me and Poppy.
Well, we don't have to.
you ruined it. You've ruined it, Poppy.
Ruin
He
what?
ruins everything.
I don't ruin a single thing. It is you.
You
who
ruin
ruins
all the
everything.
theaters with your little buddies that have to sweep up all the time.
Oh, so it's you who's killing all my friends, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Not just me.
That's you, isn't it?
Nope.
I'll make
Not
sure to
just-
tell them that.
All right.
You ever see Toy
If
Story?
I get attacked the next time
you
I
ever
go
see
to
Toy
the
Story
theater.
2?
Yes.
I'm gonna ruin you.
Okay.
Really?
All right.
Yeah, you're dead.
Is that a threat?
Yeah. You're rid of you.
Poppy, you can't threaten people.
What? Why?
Because
Threaten me.
it's illegal.
I can take it. Let's go.
I'm a piece of popcorn.
You can still.
I am above the law.
All right. This needs to end.
And we're done.
Yeah.